Mr. Sandberg, in your own words, you had suspicions about this election, isn't that right?
Well, there's suspicions about every election, but yes.
Well, let's walk through these suspicions. Now, you covered Bellevue from September of 2014 to March of 2015, isn't that right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a period of about 6 months.
Yeah.
Let's break that down for the jury. Now, in the first 3 months, it seemed as if Ginger was taking, or Miss Ginger, excuse me, was taking the district by storm.
Absolutely. With her rallies and everything, she seemed to be really sparking. But like you said, that was just at the beginning.
She was holding rallies.
Yeah.
And you interviewed over 60 people that said they were newly registered people that intended to vote, right?
Objection, Your Honor. That question calls for hearsay.
I mean, you've heard on those grounds.
Yes.
Under Rule 803.3, these are statements of intent.
The question, Your Honor, if I may, said that these voters did in fact register to vote. The part 803.3 is a state of mind exception, and the foundation for that has not been laid.
So you would be okay with the statement, I do intend to register to vote, if that were hypothetically was said?
If that question was elicited,
Okay.
yes, Your Honor.
All right, sustained. Feel
Free
free
to
to
ask the
rephrase.
question. Now, you talked to over 60 people that said they intended to vote. Is that right?
I talked to a lot of people who seemed really enthusiastic about it at first, yeah.
Well, let's talk about the home stretch from January to March of 2015.
Okay, sure.
Between January and mid-February,
Mhm.
all of the streets that you saw had lots of Ginger yard signs on them, right?
That's absolutely true.
In mid-February, out of the 307 houses that you saw, 263 of them had Ginger yard signs outside.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Your Honor, it's their contention today that something happened between January and mid-March, in which there was a decrease in support for Ginger. This goes against that.
Do you have a response?
Your Honor, we're here to talk about whether or not fraud changed the outcome of the election. Having signs on front yards doesn't prove that the outcome would have been any different. It doesn't speak whether or not an individual puts one sign out but then changes their mind later.
Do you think this might be prejudicial in a way? Misleading?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to admit it, but give it its proper weight, given all that has been testified so far. As I understand it, is witnesses view some amount of yard signs at some unknown location.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stamberg, I'd like to talk to you about Election Day,
Okay.
March 17, 2015. Now, you began the day in District 1, correct?
I'm sorry, in which district?
District 1.
Oh, yes, in District 1.
And that is the mayor's district, Mayor Hosmer.
Yes, I was going for 50-50 coverage as best I could. Anything else would be unfair.
Exactly. Now, you didn't find any issues in District 1 in the vote.
No, not from what I saw. You know, I saw from an outside view, and what I saw looked normal.
Now, you spent the second half of the day in District 12, Ms. Ginger's district, right?
Yes, yes I did.
When you arrived there, you heard people asking about voter requirements, isn't that right?
I heard some people talking about some, I guess, voter requirements is how they were stating it. Yeah.
No one in District 1 asked any questions about voter requirements, right?
I heard a lot of questions in District 1, but voter requirements wasn't one of them.
So you decided to investigate this, to see whether Max Heisman was trying to suppress the vote in District 12, right?
I'm sorry, I don't think investigate is a good way to say. I guess I talked to the people I wanted to know.
Right, you decided to look into it.
Sure.
And every single time you tried to approach someone, you were stopped by the same individual, isn't that right?
Yes, a guy named himself Bailey Reynolds. He was like the Midlands Election Committee Batman, I swear. Came out of the woodwork every time I tried to talk to someone.
Right, and this man, he claimed to be an election official, right?
Yeah.
Now, the next day, Mayor Heisman is announced the winner, right?
Well, yeah, he had won the election.
But you still wanted to look into this man and see whether he's connected in any way to Mayor Heisman, right?
Well, I was interested in the man. He seemed a little bit off, so yeah, I did some digging and just to see who he was.
And you were able to obtain a public record, right?
Absolutely.
I let the record reflect on approaching the opposing counsel and the witness in turn of what has been previously marked as plaintiff's file. Would you like coffee, Your Honor?
Yes. Thank you.
Can you please identify this public record for the board?
Well, this is the record that I obtained. It is a public record for the criminal charges for a man named Casey French.
Before I go into the contents of this record, can you turn your attention to the top left corner of this document? Is that the Midland State seal?
On this first page here?
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
And is it signed by the chief custodian in the Office of Records for the state of Midlands and City Truman? On the first page.
Yes, it is.
At the bottom, is it also signed by the notary public of the city of Truman?
Yes, it is.
All right, this time we move claims 5 into evidence.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor. Improper character evidence pursuant to Rule 404.
We've heard on those grounds.
Yes.
Under Rule 404B2, this will go to the notice of Max Heisman. The notice that Casey French has impersonated public officials before, and this might go, or this will go towards his intent or motive to, or his notice, excuse me, of his capability to do these things.
So you're saying, it seems like to me that there include here 3 not guilty verdicts at trial, 1 dismissed case, and 1 that's just an arrest warrant.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll
You're using that as proof of his actions?
not proof of his actions, but proof of Mayor Heisman's knowledge or notice of Casey French's capability to impersonate a public official. It goes towards knowledge, Your Honor, and it is not propensity evidence. We're not entering this evidence to show action performed therewith, but the notice of the mayor.
Do you have a response?
Yes, Your Honor. May be heard outside the presence of the jury.
This is all outside the present.
Yes, Your Honor. The top 3 cases in this criminal record states not guilty verdicts. The rest of this document lists instances where Casey French was impersonating an individual. We've heard testimony already that Mayor Heisman was unaware of these activities. Therefore, the only thing opposing counsel could be using this for is to establish the character of Casey French, and that is unadmissible. Furthermore, Your Honor, from reviewing Midland's Rules of Evidence 404B2, notice is not a part of the exception to the rule.
And is it also true, Counselor, to you that, it seems that my understanding is that the mayor was only aware, having represented Mr. French of the first 3 matters listed here, they're all not guilty verdicts, isn't that right?
Right, but this is going towards his knowledge that he was, that Casey French had been charged with impersonating a public official.
Your
Your Honor.
objection sustained.
Mr. Sandberg, you attended a press conference after the election, isn't that right?
Yes, I did.
In this press conference, Mayor Heisman was asked a whole number of questions, right?
Yeah.
And one of those questions was about a man called Casey French.
I don't think any names were dropped, but I can't really remember. It was a couple weeks ago.
This was the same man that you had seen at the scene in Bellevue on March 17, 2015, correct?
Yes, yes. Casey French, who had introduced himself as Bailey Reynolds. Yep.
And at that press conference, Mayor Heisman said he didn't know this individual.
That is true.
No further questions, Your Honor.